Hey loves, welcome back to Days Feels Tea. I of course am a lovely Day. And I want to talk about Ready to Love. So I took a few weeks off from recording videos about it. I'm not even gonna lie, I recorded several videos about it, and then I would always like take forever to edit it and then be like, I'm not gonna post it late, so then I just wouldn't post it. But anyways, this time I wanted to go ahead and post because we're talking about the reunion. So first things first, I'm pissed that Shiloh wasn't there. Like, that was one of the main people who I wanted to hear from on the reunion. What the hell? Like, we weren't even really given any explanation. But anyways, before I go into all of my ranting and raving, let me also say this, that I'm probably not going to talk about all the people who were on there because I don't care. I'm only going to talk about the ones who I was most interested in. And so I hope that's okay. But go ahead and hit the thumbs up button anyways, because you're at least going to get something. Make sure you leave me some comments on what you thought about the reunion and what you're hoping to see on the next reunion. Go ahead and subscribe if you haven't done that already. And if you have, thanks so much for rocking with your girl. I sure appreciate it. Okay. Jump into it. So first things first, Tommy did not host the reunion, and he said it was due to testing positive for COVID-19. So immediately that made me think, like, okay, is that why Shiloh didn't come? Or was Shiloh feeling some type of way about stuff that transpired with her and Phil? Or did she just have something else going on? Like, what's really going on? Because I'm less concerned about Tommy being there. And more concerned about Shiloh being there. And then it also just kind of makes me wonder, like, what were they doing? Like, were they doing testing and things like that with the cast? Because they were, like, you know, very heavily intertwined, and then they were still going out and about into their regular lives. It's not like they were like under a quarantine or anything. So what did they do to prevent COVID from spreading throughout the entire cast? You know, did anybody else test positive? Is everybody healthy today? Like, how is everyone doing? I don't know. I mean, everybody who appeared seemed like they were doing well. So hopefully they all remain in good health. Anyways, so moving on from that, I was really frustrated that Shiloh's not there. Of course, I was really hoping to know more about the situation with her and Phil. And I was really hoping to see, I wanted to see more of Shiloh's thoughts on several things. And like, there was a moment later in the show where Niam is talking this crazy crap about how everybody wanted Zadia or whatever. And I was thinking, like, I remember there was a week where there were several people who were interested in Shiloh too. And that was after they got to know her. So not just based on looks. And so, you know, whatever, we'll get to that. Anyways, so they really quickly talked about Sean, and, you know, he didn't go anywhere on the show. And him with that little hallelujah, I was like, yes, boy, go. Like, nobody is really feeling you. Bye. You don't, like, he was so sad that Sabrina's friends questioned him. Oh, they asked me so many questions and they were mean to me. Whatever. Anyways, so then they talk about Phil and Sydney. I wish Phil and Sydney the best. I don't know how genuine I think their relationship is. I think that Phil is mostly interested in her physical attributes. And I think that Sydney, this is something I said in some of my other videos that I didn't post, but I think that Sydney is a hostess. And that's not a negative thing, but I think that when people are hostesses, sometimes it's hard to turn that off. So I think that she liked Phil because he was not chasing her like the other boys were chasing her. And she's one of those girls who wants all the boys to like me. So I already know all y'all like me. I want to get the boy who wasn't showing me attention. I want to make sure he likes me. And then a hostess will kind of always put on this great show, make sure everybody's comfortable, make sure you feel like a man, make sure I flirt with you, make sure I do all the things. But I'm really not that interested. And that's just what I see. I could be wrong. They could be a great couple. But I see her losing interest in him soon. And I see him losing interest in her soon. That's just me. Anyways, and then Tanika Ray, the hostess, did y'all catch that shade she kind of threw at Sydney? I felt like that was kind of rude when she was like, Sydney had a connection with Phil and Frank and who else? Because I felt like there was more. I was like, oh, like, is she trying to make it like Was it just me? Because I felt like that was shady. The way she said it, I really felt like that was shady. Anyway, so then they move on and they start talking about Camille, and Camille says some mess about, you know, everybody has multiple personalities, but I'm able to name mine. Honey, this is not a skill. Don't put that on your resume that I'm able to name my multiple personalities. It's not a skill. And you grown, so stop it. But I was happy that she said she had gone through some therapy and she was no longer having those other folks appear, you know, and basically she was saying that she was no longer going to be like popping off like that, which I hope that that's true, because at some point they did also show us the clip of where she was so disrespectful to Cornelius, and I don't know how he dealt with that. I don't know how you could watch this chick disrespect you like this on TV. The guys are all backstage like so disrespectful. Like how is this okay? I don't know, but I hope that she has worked beyond that type of behavior. But of course, later in the reunion, when we see her completely denying words that we watch come out of her mouth, shows that she probably hasn't grown much. Anyways, so Camille is saying that editing made her look crazy and possessive. And of course, everybody else is like, editing didn't do that. Like, you know, we saw you, like we were there. And when Tanika asked Sabrina about Camille and Cornelius, I love that Sabrina maintained her composure and she was a class act. She was just kind of like, they don't pay my mortgage, or, you know, they don't buy my cereal. So I'm not really interested. That was fine. But then as the host is trying to go to break, Aisha brings up the fact that they didn't really address Camille being aggressive toward the other ladies. I get it. She was foul. She was so, you know, like really, really aggressive about trying to make sure nobody took Cornelius from her, which I don't know if any of y'all really was trying to anyways. But I feel like Aisha needed to let that go. Like, you starting to seem kind of pressed about this. Like, were you interested in Cornelius? Because even if you were, he's clearly not interested in you. So I feel like you need to just let that go and stop making it into like a beef situation, because it doesn't really have to be. Anyways, yeah, I just really, I feel like you mentioned it several times. Let it go. So Cornelius says that he was into Camille from day one. I didn't need to get to know these ladies because I knew what I want and I was interested in her from day one. And I'm like, okay, idiot, but that's what the show is about. Like, the show is about the fact that you've been meeting people all this time on your own, you and her, and y'all haven't done a good job of picking the right spouse. So the idea is to go through the process of the show so that perhaps you can fare a little better this time than you have in the past. But if both of y'all are stuck on stupid and gonna just still do the same stuff as what you always would do, which would just find somebody and glob onto them, then more power to you. Do what you got to do. But then he also said that he was chasing her from the start as much as she was chasing him. She didn't try to connect with any other men on the show. She didn't date any other men on the show. Can you say the same, Cornelius? No, you can't, because you're lying. Sabrina was like, no, I feel like you were pressured. I feel like you regret this relationship. He's like, who? Me? He kept playing so dumb the whole reunion. Just, what? Is that? Who? What? Huh? Yes, you. The one who looks like he's like, you know, imprisoned in his own body and in his own mind and in this shiny outfit. What is this? What were they wearing? Between Cornelius and Zadia, I was just like, what? I'm sorry, and I'm gonna be real messy for a quick second. The whole like show, why was Zadia just like I don't know if she was really sitting there like that or if production was being shady and they just kept on showing the same clip of her sitting there like that. But she was like frozen with this kind of semi-psychotic looking smile on her face. I'm sorry, y'all. That is not the point of this. I'm going to move on. What else is in my notes? So then they start talking about the Brown Girl Squad. And of course, the ladies deny it. Like, they tried to act like it really wasn't much, which you could feel it coming off the screen, that there was definitely something to this whole Brown Girl Squad thing. And I'm just like, this straight up sounds like when I was in like 4th grade and we had our little cheer squad. And we thought we were so cool because we knew these little cheers and the other girls were excluded. And yeah, that was 4th grade. Anyways, hated it. And so then Sabrina the whole super class act thing went right out the window. She just kind of started going in. She told Zadia she was a nasty bully, and she just whatever. They didn't show us any of that. So I really want to know, what were some of the things that happened behind the scenes where Sabrina felt trashed, as she said. Like, she said they treated her like she was trash. What were the things that were happening? What was being said that we all missed? Like, y'all got the tape, so show us. I don't understand. I really wanted to see that, but it was enough to where it made Zadia get up and just kind of walk away for a moment. She ain't going nowhere though. She was still there. Then we move on to Frank and Mumeen. So Mumeen, I think she's nice and sweet and everything, but obviously her picker is very, 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 very off. And so she kind of, first she was choosing Corey. Okay, Corey. I don't even need to, just because he like helped her with her car, she thought that made him a nice guy. And we know that that was a terrible situation. And then she kind of was like, okay, let me find another man to be with. So she scrambled on to Walter, knowing that Walter already had this connection with Sabrina. And she kind of tried to force Walter to pay her attention while he was already paying Sabrina attention. Messy, messy move. Never, ever works if you don't clearly already have the advantage. So that was a bad idea. Walter played it as such. It didn't give her the attention she wanted. So then she's like, damn, now I need to find a new boo. So then she goes on, and Frank is left standing because Sydney has turned her sights to Phil. So now all of a sudden, yeah, Frank is my guy. I really feel strongly about him. He's the one, yada, yada, yada. She talks about the fact that the other ladies have already said that Frank ain't ready. Like, Frank is on some BS. But she chose to believe him, just like she chose to believe in Corey. Like, how many times does it take? Wake up. Watch this show back a couple times, ma'am, and learn. Like, you keep falling for the okie doke. Anyway, so of course we learned that her and Frank ain't did nothing since the show ended. Frank says after the cameras went off, he needed to regroup. What? He claims that the one thing he normally holds under lock and key is his love life, yet he went on a dating show on TV. I don't know what Frank was going through. I feel like the structure of the show is stupid. I'm sorry. I feel like the structure of the show is stupid. You tell people to date around and all of that and make connections and things. And some of them might make connections earlier on. And then when they make the connections, they're forced to continue pretending to like other people so that they're not voted off for not making additional connections. That's dumb. That's dumb. Like, I don't get it. So I feel like there's going to be a lot of Franks and things like that who are just connecting to people because that's how you stay on the show. You know, that's how you stay on the show, is you got to still talk to these ladies even though you're not interested at all. Whatever. Okay, so yeah, it was really sad, the part with Mumeen, and she did get teary at one point because she's like, you know, you gave me your word and she trusted him and all of that. And honey, you just got to start paying attention. You got to start really, really understanding the signs of someone being honest with you and someone playing a game. Aisha kind of chimed in and she's just like, you know, you cannot be just playing with people's hearts and playing with people's feelings. And I agree with her wholeheartedly, but that's what this show kind of makes people do. Anyways, so I did like that Zadia said, she gave him advice that you need to treat women like, you know, think of them as like a friend. Like, if this was my friend, how would I want them to feel? And I think that was really, really great sound advice. And he should do that moving forward. You know, think about how you would want your daughter to feel, your friend to feel, yourself to feel, you know, and kind of act accordingly. Anyway, so then we move on to the Camille piece. And they talk about the fact that Camille said, if y'all vote Cornelius out, I'm going to F y'all up. And her and Cornelius went, who said that? Who said that? Who said that? So she talking about, that wasn't my voice. They edit. It was a voiceover. And Tanika Ray was like, are you saying they hired a voice actress? Girl, bye. Ain't nobody hired no voice actress. Ain't nobody edited nothing. So So her and Cornelius sitting up there lying, and his suit was so ridiculous. But they both claiming that she didn't say this. We all saw it. So people are like, run it back, run it back. What is this here I got happening? Oh, this my little, look at this one. This is my little broken light. I usually hide it. Anywho, look, I'm trying to put it behind my ear. It's distracting me on my monitor. I'm looking down here. Anyways, so they like, run that back, run it back. Let's look, let's see. Girl, you know Cornelius and Camille did not expect for them to run that back. Not only did they run it back, but they played it a few times and then they zoomed in close. You see the words coming right out of her mouth. Ah, F y'all up. Ah, F y'all up. Ah, F y'all up. She had the nerve to still be saying she wasn't saying it. Then she talking about, well, maybe I was talking to her. What conversation was this? It was the one on camera, ma'am. It was the one where Zadia was claiming that Aisha ain't have no connections. Okay, and now this was a good part too. When Zadia was claiming, when Tanika asked Zadia why she was saying that Aisha ain't have no connections, and Aisha sitting there with Dante and was like, I took your connection. She sure did. Whew, Lord have mercy. And then there was that nonsense where Naim is talking about 8 out of 10 men chose Zadia. Okay, first of all, you're talking about the first deliberation. Zadia's gorgeous. Zadia's a physical trainer, so she's got body yaddy yaddy for days. But once the men got to know her, were they still choosing her? No. Because the way I remember it, a lot of them were interested in Sabrina and a lot of them were interested in Shiloh. Attractions didn't last with Zadia for very, very long. And there's probably a good reason for that. I'm just saying. And furthermore, like the ladies, because the ladies were like, what the hell is he talking about? How would they have known that? They didn't start disliking Zadia after the show finished. They had feelings towards her during recording, during filming. Her and Aisha were beefing long before the show wrapped. So what are you talking about? I know you need to feel like you won the prize, but you didn't. You didn't. And you got voted off the island. Zadia ain't go with you. Camille went with her man. I'm just saying. Anyways, so as they're all going back and forth about this girl talking about she didn't say I was gonna F y'all up, Tasia gets up and leaves and she's like, this is just ghetto, I cannot. And she reveals that her mother is in the hospital, and I'm like, girl, gone. Like, I don't even know why you here. My mom in the hospital. I'm not coming to do this nonsense. But you know, I'm assuming there's a certain check involved, which is another reason why people like Frank would have kept fighting to make it to the end and pretend that they have connections even when they don't, is because, you know, there's checks involved. But I do hope that Tasia's mom is doing okay and that whatever was ailing her, that she recovered from. And I am very, very much interested in next week when we learn whatever was going on with her and Corey, or Corny Corey, as I like to call him. Yeah, and then I'm interested in knowing what the hell is Zadia talking about when she says Camille never denied anything she said. I'm so confused. Anyways, drop down in the comments. Let me know your thoughts about the review. Let me know your thoughts about the show. And thanks so much for watching. Bye.